Tony, first of all, just your reaction to, scoring all your runs there in that fashion in the ninth inning.
Yeah, it's something we talked about earlier is, it seems like when a starting pitcher, I think it was with Dave, starting pitcher throws strikes, there's kind of a flow to the game. And the game's, it's a beautiful game, and it's kind of like a dance. And, Jung-Hoo makes that play. First of all, Miller comes in and gets a phenomenal hitter out, and we get out of the inning with that defensive play. It's just, you hate to not think all that stuff's not tied in together, and I really do think it is. And then you do need something to happen on offense, and of course Rafi made it happen, and Vic kind of finished it off.
What about Bericoto's game overall with the throw too?
Yeah, I mean, the throw was awesome. The key to the throw was what, all coaches of young players are looking for. He used the turf. It wasn't an in-between hop. He didn't try and throw it 1,000,000 miles an hour. It was a clean one-hop play to the plate, and that's why it worked out in our favor. And to react that way and to be in position over there, he was doing a really good job. And then, we talked in Miami the next day. We put him in a really tough spot. I actually talked with Rafi and OB. What do we want to do here? Pinch hit, yada, yada. And we end up pinch hitting Vic kind of with the game on the line, and he hadn't had an at-bat in a while. And that was something that Raf pointed out. It's hard to do that, but we gave him a chance anyway, and we're just kind of saying the only way you get at-bats is if you get at-bats. So I'm hopeful that Miami at-bat, even though it didn't work out the way he wanted, it helped him today, and he had a productive day. The other thing was there was just a lot of it's weird how it worked out today. There was a lot of coaching done by the support staff that I thought played a big hand in things. OB was really working with him before the game on getting above the ball. And I realized the ball went out on a pretty dang good trajectory, but if you watch where that pitch was in the swing, it's exactly what OB was trying to do with him during BP. And then, of course, when we made the move with Gilbert and Susak, we had a tough decision there with Cox and Bericoto. And, it comes down to, I think both guys are capable offensively, but who do you want? And, to get a swing. And Jason and I arguing back and forth in that, I think, agreed on Bericoto, but he was adamant about doing that if we were down. And, of course, we went into that inning down 1-0, and he took that swing. He did. He's a hitter. You guys mentioned it in spring training a million times. He's a hitter. Longest answer ever.
Sorry. You alluded to the at-bat in Miami. It has been a while since, he hasn't gotten a ton of playing time. What do you think it says about him just as far as being prepared to, not only step into that moment in the ninth inning, but have an overall game like he did today?
Yeah, I think it's a quiet confidence because even in there, I walked through as the guys were recognizing him and they wanted him to give a speech. And it was perfect, but it was bam. It was like 6 words, and it was nothing crazy. But that's who he is. I think he's low maintenance to coach, and yet he works hard every day, shows up at the park. He was at Miami early hours the last couple days, even though he's got a lot of family and friends there. And his job is to stay ready, but, it's responsibility of the players, and he's done that.
Tony,
and then you got to stay confident because it's such an easy excuse to say, well, I need some at-bats to get going, but he showed you that's not the case.
If you put on your old recruiting hat, what do you think of just the physical tools we saw tonight? I think the throw was 93. That ball was 109 off the bat. I mean, what kind of physical package does he have?
Yeah, I think in basketball you want shooters. I know Coach Barnes is trying to add shooters and doing it at Tennessee. It's nothing beats a shooter is what a lot of basketball coaches say. And then in the draft coming up, and you mentioned in recruiting, everybody likes to get shortstops and, get arms that throw. But to find a guy that's going to hit is very difficult to do. And just kept hearing guys like Will Clark and Jeffrey Leonard, just people that are a lot smarter, talking about him being hitterish. And, that's an umbrella you could put a lot of different things under. But he's just very hitterish, and he looks like Bryce. He looks imposing at the plate. That counts for something, to the opponent.
during these night games at Oracle Park, it can be really hard to hit the ball out. So I just in general on either of these two or just in the past, how often are you like questioning as that ball's in the air during these night games? Like, is that ball going to get out, or do you find that happening?
Well, again, Jace was next to me, and he yelled, he did it as loud as he can and in my ear, so I didn't really have any doubt. It's interesting. He took that first cut, and I mean, he lets it loose. That's what we told him in Miami. Those were great swings. He just, we're seeing a guy throwing breaking balls at us, and it didn't happen. But that one felt pretty dang good. And then when Rafi gets his, you kind of know for the most part as well. But yeah, it can be that's a thing coming in here. I knew, and then tried to soak up as much knowledge as I can from guys like Ron Wotus, Dusty Boach. It's very well known here. You're going to have to be prepared to be in a bunch of 1-run, 2-run games, 4-3, 3-2, 2-1 tonight. And the way you win those games is a full team effort. And that's just what I tried to breeze through there and say to those guys, that no one can ever take that win away from them. It was this pretty special one. A, because it was a walk-off, but B, there were so many different people involved on defense. Willie and Rafi last night, Willie and Bryce tonight, comboing on some plays. Jungie, Cox did a good job in center back. It just, both catchers did an unreal job. But that's what you need to win here at night, from my experience. Again, I'm low man on the totem pole, but when those two guys got him, you kind of knew, and I'm glad they did, because it was the same. When Muncy got into it, he had taken some aggressive swings tonight, and for whatever reason, Smitty rolled through that inning, except for that one pitch. So I'm glad our guys covered him up a little bit, because he's a guy that's won over the locker room and the coaching staff with how he competes.
What did you think of the performance that Mally was able to deliver in his return from the IL?
He sure made it hard on the coaching staff. That's the best way to compliment him. I didn't think we were going to get there to that spot, to where his pitch count was 75, and you get to Kurtz. He had done a phenomenal job on him, 4 out of the 5 at-bats. Third time through, Kurtz got to him when we were down there, or up there, I should say. But he was phenomenal. And, sometimes the mental and physical refresher get back to probably not full strength at this point of the year, but get back to a good spot. And I've seen this before, and this is more of a conspiracy theory out of me. I've seen that pitch count thing make guys bring out the best in pitchers. And I don't know if that was the case for him. I'm sure you guys will talk to him. But sometimes every pitcher wants to stay out there as long as possible, unless you're Sergio Romo and you want to be out there quick. You want it to be 3 quick outs in the 9th. But, he might have been saying to himself, well, 75, if it gets nasty, it could be 3.5 innings. And he was just really, really efficient and attacked like crazy. All of our players, especially the hitters, believe in his fastball when he's attacking. And I think been guilty on being on the edges a little bit too much this year. And tonight he showed what he can do when he's not on the edges. He's just going out there and attacking. And then I thought, anybody else? I complimented some of the other coaches. Probably, I'd be remiss if I didn't say the best coaching moment of the night was, we told Rafi if he got on first, we were going to pinch run for him. And that was that at-bat in the 9th. So you gave a courtesy laugh right there to that. That was a joke.